Blog Talk Radio.
Chad is online with us. I need you to bring him live, if you will. Give me just a second, guys. I'm sorry.
No problem.
You noticed that, right? All right, here we go. I'm trying to communicate with my engineering team. Anyway, guys. So Oklahoma is I don't know what we're doing here. I got up this morning reading all this stuff that's going on out there. Last week we sent a team out to all of us as the We Are One America group sent a team out to in coordination with the Liberty for All people to get out there and basically help out and spread the word about what's going on with the veteran out there. They were going to take his guns because he would not comply. You know, I feel sick when this happens, especially with the Veterans Administration, supposed to be there to help America's veterans, and now they're trying to make them nothing but meaningless children, helpless children, basically. You either do it our way or you lose your veterans benefits. You lose this, you lose that. These people want to go overseas. They signed a blank check. They didn't know whether they were coming back or not to go fight a war. God knows for what reason in a lot of situations. But because the government, they are American soldiers and the government sent them, they had to go, whether they believed in it or not, because they took that oath. And now they come home. They don't have jobs. They don't have housing. But we can sit there and spend billions of dollars a year for people to live in this country that's never done a darn thing for this country but suck it dry. Our veterans are being taken advantage of and that kind of thing. So, Chad, you need to press 1 if you're listening, so Lisa can find you in the board, so we can get you online, sir. We want a heads up on what's going on in Oklahoma from you. You know, you can come in and go from there and tell us what's going on in Oklahoma, and then we can get you back to what you got to get done. Okay. So, Rocco, you live, where do you live, Rocco?
I live on Long Island, New York.
Okay. All right. So, Ed, let me ask you guys a question. What do we do about this racism thing? I mean, before this administration, I could walk down the streets in the city of Memphis, which is probably 75% black, and not worry about nothing. I would like to say I could do that today, but I'm not going to be gullible and say I can do that today. What is the government's agenda here? I mean, do they not understand if you start a race war that the majority still outnumbers the minority 10-1 or at least 8-1 or better? I don't get what they hope to accomplish here.
I think the idea and the concept is to have the people fight against each other so the government doesn't look bad in the end.
That's right. That's why they, they've created what they call super soldiers. That's why they program these kids. I believe that Columbine was a total setup. I believe that those boys were involved in what they call the Montauk Project that happened in like the 60s, 70s, and into the 80s and into the 90s. A lot of stuff happened in the Brookhaven laboratory, a lot of diseases. I feel like, the media is one great big lie. I feel everything we were ever taught in school, everything we ever learned is a complete lie in front of our eyes. And they're laughing behind the camera while half of America is sitting there saying, oh, wow, that's a shame. How could Afghanistan or how could Iraq do that to us? No, I don't buy that crap. I've spiritually awoken to this.
All right, Rocco. Chad, are you with us now, sir?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Chad, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
Tell me what's going on in Oklahoma, my friend.
Well, we started a survival and tactical store down here in northeastern Oklahoma, and we decided to put in a gun range since the people around here were asking for it. And last month, after the Chattanooga shootings by a radical Islamist that follows the Quran and such and has that ideology, perpetrated this, along with all the other type events that's been happening around the country. And so in order to keep our customers safe out on the range and in our stores, and to feel comfortable and not have to worry about others, we put a sign up on the window that said this is a Muslim-free range and business.
But isn't that? But let me ask you something. Now, I'm a red-blooded born American. Doesn't that fall under discrimination to a degree? I mean, I don't have a problem with what you're doing. Let me make that very clear. I think it's 100% correct. But my job is to be the advocate here, and so I'm asking you. I mean, what's next when you start doing Muslim? No blacks allowed. No Jews allowed. I mean, the precedent we're setting here is that it's okay to discriminate. But at the same time, again, I 100% agree with what you're doing and why. So how do we get through this muddy water at this point?
Well, I follow the same principle and guidance as Jan Morgan, that has done exactly the same thing over in Arkansas. This is not about religious beliefs. It's not about Christians against Muslims. It's not about that kind of a discrimination. This cult, if you will, follows an ideology that has a book that says for them to, for 109 passages in this book of the Quran, it tells them to lie, kill, and murder the infidels and the non-believers. And we believe here at the range and now gun club that we will not have that kind of animosity in our establishment that makes people uncomfortable.
That take on it makes a lot of sense, because basically you're ensuring security. I mean, look at the 9/11 people that flew the planes. They were trained here in the United States.
Well, we've got people handling live weapons and with ammunition, and we're not going to be responsible for the next jihadi trained to shoot accurately at our reserve centers.
So how do you actually filter this? I mean, you've got a lot of red-blooded Americans, white folks and black folks, and that actually are sworn to, are actually following the Islam ideology. How do you weed those out? How do you know who is and who isn't?
Well, absolutely. We do not discriminate. We if someone comes in, they sign up for the club, and we do our diligence on them and approve them, and and that's fine. We have daily club memberships and we have yearly club memberships, but they have to be approved. If someone comes in and signs up and they do everything and they go out on the range and they shoot and they leave, and everybody's happy. I don't know John Christian from Buddy the Muslim, but if they come into the store in the range and they start spouting, "Hey, I'm a Muslim, can I shoot here?" Well, they've already come in with an agenda. They've come in with attitude, and based on that, my customers will not feel safe. I don't feel safe because they're already attacking me, so I'm going to ask them to leave the store, not based on their religion, but because they're basically being buttholes.
So today we reached out to a lot of people today on the Red Alert system for WALA, the actual We Are One America organization, have has devised a national alert system that's going to include probably 200 or 300 people before we're through adding everybody to it. That is control of separate groups, separate militia groups, separate Facebook pages, and like-minded people to be able to organize and mobilize when our way of life is threatened. Now, Ed, with me saying that, what do you say? What do you say about this?
Well, I mean, I think somebody that has a private business should be able to pick and choose their clientele. Gentleman's club, a strip club, says you can't come in with your hat on backwards. Okay, so I mean, why can't we have rules, or why can't we have clients? Why can't we pick our clientele? Now, is it some discrimination? Could it go too far? I don't see why somebody can't open another gun range, that doesn't allow Christians to be there, if that's what they choose to do. So I think the individual should be able to do that. I totally understand his concern there for potentially training the next big terrorist. I'm somebody that I consider myself to be a Christian. Some other Christians wouldn't agree with that definition for myself. I don't go to church. But, I'm hoping to have supporters of any religious beliefs, non-believers, atheists. I don't really care. But I'll tell you, when it comes to the Muslim and the Islam, that's kind of a whole different ballgame for me right now. I don't mean to come across as somebody that's, prejudiced or discriminatory, but I'll be honest with you that I'm very concerned about what's going on in this country and around the world when it comes to, people of that religion. An example is that I like to go to a sports bar, watch a baseball game. We have a lot of college-age Muslims that come in there. Mm-hmm. And one day, a couple of them cornered a waitress and said something to I wasn't there at the time, but said something to the effect of, "You are now my girlfriend, you are now my whatever," and decided that she was now their property. And they were very serious about that. So had I been there, I'm sure I would no longer have been welcome there afterwards, but I would have made it very clear to them that that's not how we talk to women in this country. That's not, how we do things here. But that scares the hell out of me, that mindset of people, it's fine. Come here legally, do the thing to come here legally, but you better love America, and you better not be wanting to come here because of America. Don't come here to change it to fit what you want it to be. And that is absolutely not okay with me. So I walk a thin line. I'm not politically correct by any means, but I try to be, honest about that. I am fine with all religions. I don't play any of those games with that. I want the best for America. But I'll tell you, when it comes to this Islam stuff, it kind of gets me to that other side of that I'm not okay with that. So I understand his stance on that.
All right, Chad. All right, how many people you got on the ground out there now? I mean, we got up this morning and we called the people that we know. I know you've got, last I talked to you, there was 14, 15 people as security force there for you. There are more coming. We've got Patriot Railroad that's actually mobilizing to help you out, several of the state militias. You guys have been directly threatened. How does that come about?
Well, I mean, once the way the threats came about was we've had the sign up for a month, and we've had it up on our store page on Facebook, and nobody has said boo about it. But one day, a couple of days ago, the gentleman came on my instant message. I guess it was on our Facebook page, and started ranting and raving about how wrong it is, and he's going to make us famous and turn us into all these groups and the news media and that kind of thing. And I told him, thank you. We welcome the media attention, and this isn't a political stunt or an attention here to get more business. It's how we stand and where we stand on what we believe in. And so people started really hitting us hard on our messages and on our ratings and reviews, and then they got our phone number and started making phone calls to the business and being real hateful. And these were Muslims, because they stated, I'm a Muslim. I don't agree with what you do. And then they started going into, their hate mode. And then on top of that, we've had phone calls that said, I seen and heard about your sign. You better watch your ass. That kind of stuff. And then we've had direct threats on our Facebook page as well. So we also have here on the ground at least 20 minimum mixed militia groups and patriot groups, Oath Keepers, 3%ers, and just people from around the community here.
So basically, what these people have to understand is, just like the Japanese emperor had to understand, behind every blade of grass in America, what are you going to find? A shotgun, a rifle, a pistol.
Exactly.
They come here and want to. Let me get something straight with everybody listening. In case you have not read the Quran, I'd like for you to encourage you to do so.
Absolutely.
For one reason only, you will find out. I've got some education on political sciences. Islam is not a religion; it's a political ideology. If you don't understand for what it is, you're going to get lost. Before you read the book,
if you go on, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but if you go on to Jan Morgan's page, and she has a blog or a review or something that she wrote saying why she does not want Muslims on her gun range, and it's very informative. It puts out all the facts, gives you everything that you need to know.
The bad thing that they don't, the one thing that gets me is, if this ideology works so well for you all for the last 1,400 years, why move here? Why didn't you stay in your own lands that you have destroyed, fighting each other? The thing that people don't get is, if this nation right here was full of Shiites and Sunnis, and there were no Christians here, there would still be fighting. They fight amongst themselves. They don't. It's their nature. They don't like each other. How do you think they're going to come here and like us? Why do you come to a land of the free when you don't want to be free? When you think freedom is a bad thing, but people should not be free. These are. Women are nobody's property. God made Eve for Adam out of his rib to be his equal, not from his back, not from his head, not from his feet, but from his side, to be his equal in life. It also says the man leads the family, but that's also the Christian religion. We have to understand that spirituality is the number one thing we've got to start embracing and get rid of religion. Period. You either love God or you don't, because religion is a man-made entity. It's made up of people that want to believe this part of the Bible but don't feel comfortable believing this. And God hates a fence straddler. I hate to tell you this, guys. He demands all or nothing, basically, and that's something that people got to wrap their head around. If you're gonna run around with the Bible in your hand, you got to believe it all. You can't believe the parts that suit you. Ed,
well, that's exactly right.
Okay, Ed. Say that. Where are you planning on going? Let me ask you, Ed. You've got a major mountain to climb, brother. You're a little guy. You're just a small fish in the pond. What are you going to do as far as your ability to get where you need to go?
Right, and I'm as serious as can be, so I want to be clear about that. But here's the first thing is, thank you, for having me on your show, because that's a huge thing. And William Tint, who hooked me up with you earlier today or whatever to help, make this happen. So I got some great people that are helping make these things happen. So number one is that if I am somebody that your listener wants to see get somewhere, let other people know about me. Let them know that I'm real, that I'm really serious about this, because I'm working without a dime. I'll be honest with you. Hopefully something will come in over time to help, but obviously I'm up against people who are spending tens of millions of dollars. So be it. That's fine. The bottom line is I got to get the word out. I use my phone, the internet. I work within my community. I have people all over the country spreading the word. I try to get in with like-minded groups, whether those are people that are very passionate about the events of September 11th. Gotten a lot of help from that community. Whether it's people that want there to be full disclosure when it comes to things that are classified that do not put our national security at risk or our military at risk, I'm all for that. I don't think we should have such a secretive, situation from our government. A lot of people are fed up with the politicians, the career politicians, or the two parties. I'm an alternative to all those things. So in order to get there, I got to get on ballots. That's a big process. I can't start that till I have a running mate. I offered a running mate position to a military veteran who had over 20 years of experience from West Virginia. He had run for a position down there, and unfortunately, fortunate for them, he wants to stick to doing things locally from a local level. So I'm still looking for a running mate. I need to find a good running mate as soon as possible. If anyone out there is listening and would like to be considered, please get in touch with me. I can't start petitions until I have a running mate in place. So in like Alabama, I need 5,000 signatures to get on the ballot. Idaho's 1,000, Oregon's 18,000, California's 180,000. So every state, there are challenges, but we can do it. I have no doubt that at some point here very soon, this is going to, I don't want to say, go viral or whatever, but the word is going to get out. Anybody that's hearing my voice for the first time tonight or hearing the name Ed Baker for the first time today can never say again, I've never heard of Ed Baker. So we're getting the word out. We have 448 days or so till Election Day. Time is flying by. It's going to be tough, but we can do it. So, that's the answer to that. We're going to give it our best shot, and we can, and we're going to inspire a lot of people in this process to run at those local levels that do need attention. We need good people in these local and state positions. A lot of people are going to take the risk because they're going to be inspired by people like myself and others that are running.
Okay.
I believe what we need to do, I'm interrupting you again, but we need to completely have a reset button, get all the career politicians out of the District of Criminals, Columbia, and put term limits on Congress and Senate and such, because when they sit there and actually do nothing, fall asleep, or don't even show up, they're not representing the people, and either is the big chief and at the head of the table. So, if we did what the Declaration of Independence mandates us to do, then we would absolutely need someone like you in office to, set the country back in motion like our forefathers meant it to be.
Thank you. And I was, the same thing there. I just stopped myself a little short. But the term limits thing is very important. But what I believe is going to happen again is if I am elected, or if we get, enough publicity from this, it's going to inspire those people. And as they start getting elected to those positions, they will be running saying, we will put in term limits, and they will need to vote those in. If they don't, I'm sure they'll be voted right back out by the next person that runs and says, I will put in term limits, because that is critical. Got to get rid of the career politician, and this will also ensure, fresh ideas, new faces coming in. It'll reduce the opportunity for scandal. It will make it more likely that these people are in touch with their constituents, and that is what has to happen.
Well, on top of that, if you make these people that are in these seats go back out into the population after they're done serving the country and Congress and Senate, they will not pass these draconian laws and unconstitutional laws that are on the people.
That's right.
I mean, you look at the legislation that we passed in Washington here recently. Let's talk about the TPP. Let's talk about the Iran deal. I mean, when in America have the American people not been able to be privy to legislation that affects each and every one of us? But they're supposed to be the most transparent administration in the history of America. Man, I tell you one thing, transparency is looking a whole lot like a concrete wall to me these days when it comes to the Obama administration.
Well, pass it before you read it kind of deal,
Right. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Why have we allowed this to happen? I mean, I can remember back when I was in high school, when the Reagan and Bush team was going around, and I was doing the campaigning at 16 years old to be able to, to be able to vote and all this kind of stuff for Reagan, Bush, and and the country made a major turnaround. Yes, Reagan made some mistakes. We all know what they are. We can move on from that, but he did a lot of great things for the nation. But let's go on and talk about why the people of the United States, and I hate to use this term, we're kind of stuck on stupid. We're our grandfather's party. This man's last name is recognition. Wow, I mean, our forefathers left us one job, and that's to keep a check on our government. And we've been too busy doing other things. It just kind of makes me kind of strange that we the people have become so complacent that we just don't want to do anything anymore because everything's done for us. So why bother? And they don't think that we can win anymore because the oligarchy government in Washington D.C. controls everything. I mean, if back in the day, if the Republicans that all took office here in November had made all these promises, then there would be recalls all over this country on these people back in the 80s and 90s.
Right.
That just basically blatantly sell us out. We're gonna take a minute here to have a break, guys. I want everybody to hang around. We're gonna be gone for about 4 minutes. I got to pay the bills. This stuff ain't free. So anyway, if you'll just hang on for about 4 or 5 minutes, we'll be right back. We'll get Ed back. Chad, if you could stay, I'd really appreciate it. Rocco, if you could stay. William Kent's live with us also tonight, folks. He's going to be going over some things that the plans in place to kind of help Chad out in Oklahoma. All right, anybody? We're gonna pay the bills, and we'll be right back.
are listening to a production of
World Integrity News Network.
The pride and joy of America. Old glory. It's time to take it back, my fellow patriots.
I'm Mark Hoffman, host of Patriot Nation Radio, and I am going to participate in the Take Back America Challenge. And remember this, folks, these colors don't run.
This is my Take Back America Challenge.
My name's Lisa, and I've accepted the Take Back America Challenge. These colors don't run.
So I, Jonathan Wolf DeVere, take the Take Back America Challenge, and I encourage everybody to do it.
I'm Denise Freeman. I'm Ruth Taylor. I'm Darlene Bond. This is the Take Back America Challenge, and these colors don't run.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States
of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And there it is. Let's take it back, folks. These colors need to live on. Let's not let it go down the drain.
God bless America.
Tune in to Patriot Nation Radio. www.blogtalkradio.com/Patriot Nation. Peace. God bless America.
This is Dave Bray from the patriotic rock band Madison Rising, and you're listening to Reach Out America.
Hi, this is Ernest Lee. Can you find 10 spare minutes a day, 6 days a week? Do you think restoring our constitutional republic is worth 10 minutes a day to you? If you do, go to thelibertypledge.com and read Common Sense 2, The Liberty Pledge. Do it today. It's our country and our children's future that's at stake. Thanks.
Reach Out America Radio, where news is never produced. It's presented with integrity. Join World Integrity News Network 7 days a week from 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central to 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central on blogtalkradio.com/WINN. Also on blogtalkradio.com/WINNINC. We are here to help work toward a better tomorrow.
Chuck Ocelli, the host of Ocelli Effect, and he's been known for many years as a blind KFK researcher specializing in intelligence agency involvement in multiple assassination, propaganda, and other global criminal operations in the 20th and 21st centuries.
Chuck just keeps making sterling point after sterling point here, all right?
The initial stages
of surgically cross-sectioning the onion is where we are.
It's something so far beyond the scope of what we've been told. And again, Chuck hit the nail right on the head.
Those individuals who are completely immersed in surrogate reality, in just being concerned with staring down at their iPhones as opposed to looking at the world around them.
The Ocelli Effect. The Ocelli Effect, heard on the internet. A great show.
For decades now, in the name of fun, food, and entertainment, conservative Christians and patriots have created a monster. And unknowingly, after we spent billions of hard-earned dollars supporting corporations and sponsors, we now see their plans. They systematically have bought politicians to spread their immoral social agenda, and they have sued in court and have successfully closed down some businesses. I'd say enough's enough, and let's feed this beast no longer. Feed the beast no more. So join our national boycott. They have targeted right now 8 corporations and sponsors of media. And to catch that official list, head over to Pastor Sylvester Bland's page, www.theunitedstatesofamerica.us, or call 951-360-3399. That number again, 951-360-3399, or hit up www.theunitedstatesofamerica, like St. Paul, St. Peter, pluralized, Saints, the United States of America.us.
World Integrity News Network.
The common goal should be turning America to its constitutional republic's roots.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice that people make to accomplish certain things.
It actually didn't belong to the federal government in the first place. It belongs to you and I.
Some hope for the youth of our country.
This is my next phase of my mission.
The next greatest generation.
If you're not mad, you're not paying attention. And if you're not paying attention, you're part of the problem.
Right.
If you're not mad, you're not paying attention, and if you're not paying attention, you're part of the problem. No truer words have ever been said. Hi guys, welcome back to the show. If you guys want to call in and ask your question, that number is 516-453-9128. Look forward to hearing from our guests this evening. We have Ed Baker on, hopeful presidential hopeful for 2016. We have Chad from Oklahoma tonight, reporting live from the scene of the possibility of Muslim terrorism, basically over being refused service. We have got William Kent on. He is in charge of several state militia organization systems. We also have Rocco online with us from Long Island. So got great people online with us tonight. All right, let's get back to Oklahoma. What are the needs out there, Chad? What do you need? Chad, are you still with me? Well, I guess Chad has dropped off the line here.
Wait, I'm still here.
Okay, hey Chad. All right. Well, what are the needs in Oklahoma, sir? Well, what does the nation need to do? What do the people of the nation need to do to help you out right now?
Well, what they need to do is wake up to the fact that this cult has been destroying this country and nations around the world. It moves like a scourge through and destroys and puts people into slavery and makes them bow to their will. The fact that there was crusades to eliminate this exact scourge is a testament to the fact that I'm not saying it should happen again, but then again, it is a cult, an ideology that has sprung up, and because of our constitutional government and the ones that are actually protecting it, they're getting away with a lot of things that you or I couldn't get away with, and we'd be in prison for.
Well, let me tell you a little story, and Ed, you're going to love this one, being the fact you're running for president. When they put out on social media last week, the Louis Farrakhan demand to have 10,000 people running around stalking white people and killing them. Me as an American citizen, I'm like, well, you know, this is not acceptable. So I've called the Federal Bureau of Investigation, their Washington headquarters. I told them all about what was going on, and the lady on there quite obviously had a Middle Eastern accent. So it me that, well, you can't follow things. I said, damn, I watched the video. It came out of his own mouth. If I just sat out in the street and went out there and talked about going to have 10 people go out and try to murder people, I would be in chains somewhere in Leavenworth. Why is he better than me? Why is he better than me? Why is this acceptable? Well, Mr. B. Singer, that is not your concern. Nope. That's when you hit the wrong button at that point. What are you talking about, ma'am? I am a citizen of this country. What do you mean it's not my concern? Well, let's say a few little heated exchanges. I'm surprised I have some black SUVs in my driveway again. But it amazes me how much they've infiltrated our very core of government, and it's been allowed. And you know, you look up here at our elected officials. I mean, you look at Mitch McConnell. I don't know whether that's a drug-induced stare or just out-and-out fear in that man's eyes. Look at John Boehner, the same thing. And God bless poor Nancy Pelosi. She is so deluded and so senile. I mean, I don't know why somebody just don't go on and just put her in a home. I mean, she's a complete embarrassment to the state of California. Hell, I mean, to the entire nation. I mean, you've got all these things going on, and you know, in my business, that what we do here at WINN, you have to look at what's going on everywhere, and try to figure out what the deal is. I mean, what we can do. All right, let me rephrase this. I want to make sure I get this correct. We have to figure out what we're going to have to do to turn back time, to be able to correct these situations. You can't put the enemy in charge. You can't put a wolf in charge of the sheep. You know, you can't put a fox guarding the house. That's what they're doing. I mean, and it's being unchecked. Ed, how do you fix that in government?
Well, I mean, first of all, the people you just named, Nancy Pelosi is 75 years old. I don't know how long she's been in these positions, but a long, long time. These are all career politicians. And you know, those people are at the highest level of their parties, so Mitch McConnell and these other people, you know, and so I mean, it's just scary that these are the top representatives of the people that we're electing to represent us. And obviously that whole thing needs to be cleaned out, and the term limits would help, and a number of other things would definitely help good people taking the risk to run for these positions. But yeah, I mean, it's catering to the minority, catering to the few, making changes that affect the many, to cater to the few. And I don't know. I mean, it's insane. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. It's just absolutely insane that we allow it to happen. It's forced to happen on us. And like we said before, if you want to move here from another country, you know, do it because you love what we stand for. Don't come here and want to change things and want it to fit your ideal place. And so often these people come here and it's like they make it like home, you know, make it like what they're used to back where they came from, instead of moving here to embrace America. And so I don't know. I think it's just a matter of good people standing up and saying no more and fighting to the end here. That's really what it comes down to, organizing and giving it our best shot. Some of it we have to do within the rules that are in front of us. A lot of people say to me, I don't even think there's going to be an election in 2016. That's not what we need to do. But I say, oh, well, you do what you think is right and what you want to put your energy into. For myself, I'm going to use the rules that are in place, and I'm going to, file the paperwork with the FEC and run for president, try to position myself to where I can win, and hopefully I gain the support to do that. But I'm all for everybody putting their energies where they think it's appropriate to make America the best place it can be. But it's a matter of people doing that and giving it a go and standing up for something. Pick your fight and let's go fight.
Yeah.
I'm all for Americans standing up for Americans. The biggest problem is that the American people are the ones that are being prosecuted for standing up for their rights.
That's right.
The majority of the Americans are veterans, and they take an oath to defend against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And once Obama got in office, he opened up the borders. He put the federal government on vacation. He closed down the cemeteries. He took away a lot of rights and did a lot of things that were disgraceful. He should have been removed from office then. Now we have people like these Muslims up in Oklahoma. Well, I got news for them. This is America. If they're going to come to America, they have to abide by American laws and rules. Whether it's being discriminative or not, they cannot take action and threaten the lives of other people in America without action being taken against them. And that's where we
Okay,
stand.
I'm sorry about that. It seems like Blog Talk doesn't like me sometimes. They just kind of put me off the air. But I'm back. William, thank you very much. Go ahead, William. You were having a question or a statement. Go ahead with your statement.
Yeah, I was just filling in your airspace. I figured I'd wait till you came back. But just to finish up with Oklahoma, where we stand with it is, we have people set up now. We have a system set up of communication, a set rule of engagement. If they are attacked, obviously we are going to defend ourselves. We are going to defend the store and the owners. We have a system in place where we can defend that area and have people rolling out there, where we have roving patrols and people circulating in and out, much like the Bundy Ranch, if it's necessary, to protect the store until we find the resolve. And, if it comes to where we are defending against enemies, I mean, again, we have taken an oath in militia, 3%ers, oath keepers. We've all taken the same oath to defend against enemies, foreign and domestic. And if it comes down to it, and they become an enemy, we're going to do what's necessary to protect our people.
Amen. All right, that says enough. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I got a little distracted during I being knocked off there. My son calls me and tells me I need my daddy. So he's 19. So I'm a little distracted right now because I'm a good father, and when my kids call, it kind of tells me I need my daddy. It knows it's a problem, and I've got to man up and fix this. Anyway, so let's go on. Let's talk about foreign policy, Ed. How are we going to deal with foreign policy? I mean, our foreign policy is so far out there. The agenda is so overwhelming. What happens to what do we do to get back to having real friends and real allies instead of the ones that are bought and paid for?
Yeah, well, one, we don't need to be in all these countries. I don't know the exact stats of how many troops are still in Korea or in all these other countries. That doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense to me. We need to worry more about ourselves instead of trying to.
Ed, let me interrupt you here now. You said something that's kind of touchy, so I want to get your real thoughts on this. We see how well leaving Iraq did. We see how well leaving Afghanistan's doing. So what you're saying is we create security in these countries, but then we need to leave because we spent billions of dollars rebuilding them. So we just have to go back again at later dates. How do you ensure us not having to go back?
Should have we been there to begin with? I mean, you talk about Afghanistan. Why did we really go there? We went there for opium, and so I question, in some of these cases, if we belong there in the first place and what our motives are. So I agree that are we the world's policemen? Do we need to be in all these countries? Do we need these American people to be in those countries when these are great American people that would be doing our communities well, having them here in America, helping out at our borders and making sure that illegal aliens aren't entering our country. That's my thought on that. I mean, there's a lot to learn about the exact impacts of, having this many troops or being there this long, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to be somewhere forever and to have all these bases in all these countries and, kind of dictating to the world this is how you're going to live. I don't know. I don't think that's right. I wouldn't want that to happen here. I wouldn't want Russia to one day show up and have bases all throughout America. So that's my thought on that. I've got a lot to learn in that area. I worry a lot more about what happens within our borders than I do outside of them. I don't think that we should be sending money to all these countries. I think that we need to make sure that we're taking care of our own people and putting them first. And I guess that's my overall thought on that. Did we lose you again?
All right. I'm here. I'm sorry, Ed. My son's back on the phone again. Anyway, so let's go a little bit further here. Now, you realize that you've got an uphill battle. I mean, you seem like a fairly intelligent individual. I mean, how do you accomplish this making? All right. Let me come back to that. Now, this is what's going to happen. Let's say that you actually start making some really major headway. Then you're going to have Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, and yourself to deal with probably. I'm thinking Trump's probably going to be your nomination for the Republican Party. The way things... now, you're going to have 3 people in the race. How are you going to be able to manipulate pulling enough people from the Democrats and Republican side? Because if you just pull from the Republican side, you're going to get a split vote, and you're going to guarantee the Wicked Witch of the Clintonville in the office. So how are you planning on mobilizing and executing a plan to see that doesn't happen?
Yeah, well, and that could happen. That would be a really almost a worst case scenario, certainly. But I'll say this, that most likely the winner of both of those primaries, I can't specifically say about Trump. I don't really know there. But I certainly will say if it was Jeb Bush, I would feel 100% about this, that if you got a Clinton and a Jeb Bush as your winners of those primaries, either one of them is going to serve the same evil agenda. They're just twins. It really doesn't matter. It'll only be the illusion of choice for voters to pick between them. They're both going to carry out the same evil agenda, not put the American people first. So the reason people support me is because they don't support the others that are in the race. Okay, so I don't buy too much that I'm pulling votes away from somebody or another. There's a lot of people that support me that haven't voted in a long time. They say, I haven't voted. I finally have a candidate that I feel good about supporting, and I will vote this time. So, I'm not going to feel responsible if I split a vote or if that's the perception. I would hate to see Hillary Clinton win. I think that'd be the worst thing that could possibly happen. It could happen no matter what, whether I run or not, that could happen. But the bottom line is that I'm going to do my best to get the word out, get the message out. Again, Trump or any of these other people still are very out of touch with the everyday American. They're not. I have no problem with somebody being wealthy and successful. I think that that's a great thing. But the bottom line is they are very out of touch with the average American person. I do my best to represent them. My whole thing is get the word out. If I can reach enough people and let them know that I'm an option, then that's the best I can do. With the help of these people, we can get on ballots. And, with the help of shows like this and every other opportunity that I get to talk to people and reach new audiences, we can do it. Like I said before, we got almost 450 days. That's not much time. But I don't underestimate the people of America. Their vote counts. Each person gets one vote. You choose to do with it what you want if you choose to vote at all. And I'm going for it. And I believe, again, that if we do win, it's going to help inspire other people to run for these local, state, and federal offices, and we will start to get real representation across the country.
Okay. That's all great. And it's workable. I was listening to how you're planning on doing this, and it's a workable situation. But the thing you're going to have is, and you know as well as I do, you're going to have the RNC up in arms going. He's going to split the vote. You're going to have the DNC doing the same thing. I mean, you're going to have a lot of fear being issued to the American people of, oh my God, not another Democrat, not another Bush. I mean, the worst thing we could do right now is
I
put
think they're both
another.
Right. Go ahead. Sorry.
Another Bush in the White House would be an absolute nightmare. You're just going to have another rubber stamp Obama in place, because they're all part of this New World Order system. But the Bush plan themselves, I mean, I don't know how Reagan ever picked George H. But George W. I mean, I thought was a fairly decent president. I think he was misguided in a lot of ways by his own staff. I think he was amongst the people that he trusted. Is the reason why we got into these wars in the first place. You have to also understand that your military, the military establishment, the people that build all of our munitions and everything for the country, have such a huge voice in Washington today. I mean, we have to figure out a way as a people to make it more not profitable to certain individuals. You've got these people. I mean, realize this. I mean, if people don't realize this today, we are funding ISIS. And we're funding all the countries around there trying to fight ISIS. So we're making money on most, and that has got to be illegal. In our Constitution, cannot in any way be involved in the sovereignty of another nation. But we do it, and we get away with it. You talking about a government, reason why we're hated around the world? Well, look at the American people and what they've allowed our government to do in our name. And you wonder why we're hated. We used to be one of the most loved and respected countries on the face of the earth, and then we became the tyrants of the world. We are the biggest, baddest boys on the block. Did that in 237 years, a great accomplishment. But now it's like we need to be ashamed of all that. And yes, we've done some things we need to be ashamed of. Do we run around the world as a president apologizing for them? No. Do we start correcting those situations? Yes.
Right. Well, you got a current president that apologizes for us all the time, and I'm not into president bashing. I've always found it very unattractive, but at the same time, it's really hard not to with our current president. And I'm not a fan of any of our last four, really. I agree with you about George W. Bush. I don't think he was nearly as bad as his father, so. But look, in my opinion, from the research I've done with the CIA involvement and all these things that George Bush and even his father and grandfather were involved in, I don't think there's a more evil person in America than George H.W. Bush. And I don't think there's somebody that could have been worse for America as a president right now than our current one. So I'm not, and again, I don't take any pleasure in bashing a president. I found that to be pretty unattractive in general. But the reality is that these guys are representing the New World Order, as you said. Now, you look here at George Bush, and both George Bushes, as well as John Kerry, as well as Taft, they came out of that skull and bones secret society, And so that, to me, when anybody that isn't familiar with that, just do some research on that. They only graduate 15 members a year, and yet out of those 600 or so that are even alive, you have the Republican nominee and the Democrat nominee in 2004 for president facing each other, that out of maybe 600 people that are alive that are Skull and Bones members, those are your two choices that the media tells you get to choose between. So, I mean, there's something not right there, and I believe it's rigged at the primary level. I wouldn't be surprised if Donald Trump doesn't win the primary, and if Jeb Bush comes back up or one of these other people comes back up. I would have some concerns if Donald Trump does win it, because maybe there's more to it there than not. I hear that he's a pretty good friend of the Clintons, and a number of other things there as well. But look, those are all valid concerns that there could be a split of the vote. But you know what? I'm doing what I believe is right. I do not trust either party. I think we're just going to stay in the same boat forever if we keep doing this. They automatically say I do not represent 40% of America. just by voting for me, by putting an R or a D in front of their name. And you need somebody as president that doesn't buy into any of that political party stuff and will work with everybody and demand accountability from these elected people. And that's something I do.
Well, okay. Now let's go one step further. You know, the biggest problem with American politics is too much money in it. How do we get rid of the lobbyist system? How do we? Okay, here's a number for you that you might need to know. But you know, there's 13 U.S. senators or congressmen that have been in office in a combined of 413 years. That should scare the hell out of any of the living American there is. There is no way that you leave people in power over free people that long and not expect them to fall in love with themselves.
Scandals. I mean, it creates the opportunity for scandal for sure. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
As far as your statement earlier about bashing the presidency, well, you know, I hear people all the time, I can't believe you disrespect the office. Well, my response is always this: shouldn't there be a requirement of the man holding that office to have respect for the country?
Yeah.
For us to be able to respect him?
I agree 100%.
Okay, at this point, guys, I've got to leave the show. William, you're going to take over. My son is like, it's a family situation. I'm just going to give you guys, you know, I'm just a man like everybody else is. My son's crying. His girlfriend and him are fighting, and Daddy's got to be there. And I'm sorry I'm having to leave the show. William, I hope you take over and do a really good job. But right now, like I tell my whole team, regardless of what you're doing at any given time, you always remember one thing: family comes first. And it's not a professionalism on my part, but I live by what I preach, and my family comes first always. So I'm gonna have to leave the show, guys, and deal with my son. He's really upset, and that's just what Dad's supposed to do, and that's how I was raised. And y'all, please forgive that.
Amen.
William, take it over, William, are you still with me? Well, I guess I'm not taking the show. I guess William has left us. Okay, well, let's keep on going. I have no idea where William went to. Will dropped. All right, see there. Let's see if when he calls back. Lisa, let me know because I have to leave the show in a minute. All right, now check out this. We've talked about education. We talked about foreign policy. Now, what are we going to do about this infernal organization called the Internal Revenue Service?
Say that one more time.
What are we going to do about the Internal Revenue Service?
Yeah, you know, I think that we need to either go with in general, I think we need to change the tax system around. I think that we need to either have a flat tax or a fair tax. Make things a lot less, you know, complicated with so many loopholes and so many ways for the rich to get out of paying their taxes. I think all those organizations, we talked about the CIA earlier, I think that certainly the Federal Reserve, the IRS, I think we need to look at all those organizations and see, you know, are they lawful? Are they a benefit to America? What can we do instead? And so those are all, I swear, there are probably 80 to 100 things right now that I'm learning more and more about, because every time I talk to people, I find out, you know, different things that are so important to them as an individual, issues, and there's just so many things to learn. I say I don't know more than any other candidate that you'll probably talk to, but, you know, I'm always learning and trying to learn all I can about it. I do think that we need to change our tax system. I think we need either a fair tax or a flat tax. And I think we need to do away with some of these other taxes where people are being charged multiple times, you know, and it just hurts the consumers at the everyday middle class or below. And I think we need to address that.
I'm sorry, I'm back. My phone died.
All right, William, if you will take this over, I'd really appreciate you keeping it on point, my brother. I'm glad you do this. Like I said, my son is like a basket case, and like I tell my crew all the time, family comes first. It's been a great interview tonight. I'm glad you got to join us. William Kenton is now in the house. He will be taking over the questions and stuff like that for the rest of the interview. I have to go. Daddy's do list has been basically my bell has been rung, and my son needs me, and I'm going to go take care of my family. You guys have a good night.
Thank you.
Have a good night, Bobby. So, Ed, I've been following you on Facebook, and we've been speaking a little bit, and I noticed that you have a page on Facebook that's open to the general public, and they ask you questions on a daily basis. Have you received any questions that you weren't prepared to answer, or questions that you had to look into to find the answers to?
Well, I'm sure I don't know if I can think of anything, exact example off the top of my head, but I was just saying there that, I get asked things every day, that it always amazes me. I'm talking to people about what's important to them, and it just amazes me the things that they tell me are so important to them, whether it's something at their local level, whether it's something that is a very detailed personal thing, whether it's veterans benefits or whether it's, any of these other things, that are just so important. So I'm always trying to learn all that I can. It's amazing what you don't know. And so I can't think of an exact example right now, but I mean, there are just so many things that are important to people, whether it's our safe food and water and air. One of the things I was looking at is the drought in California and in Alaska and in Oregon where I live, and different things like, the Nestle bottled water that they're coming in, taking water from these places and bottling it and selling it. And then also the possibility between chemtrails and possible weather modification that are leading to these droughts that we're having. Those things scare the hell out of me, especially.
And it's a definite possibility.
Oh, it's certainly a possibility. I don't even know why I sugarcoat it by saying that. I think it's a probability. I think it's happening. I encourage everybody to research HAARP. I encourage you to research the chemtrails. And these things are scary. I mean, these are things that are going on that we have got to get in control. They're poisoning the people of America. They're dumbing them down. And, there are just so many things that people are concerned about. The Fukushima radiation that's going into the Pacific Ocean. People are concerned about the Iran nuclear deal or things involving Israel. There's things, just all different things that are important to people, and so I try to do my best to learn as much as I can before I give my thoughts on those issues. And something like Israel, for example, seems like it's as divisive as abortion right now. It amazes me how many people have very strong feelings about Israel, positively or negatively, and I didn't realize that there was that much of a division there, or that much passion, especially against Israel, from people that are like-minded on a lot of other issues, and so I'm trying to learn all I can about all these different things, but there's a lot to learn, and I'm committed to doing my best to do that. Can I real quickly tell the listeners, the group you mentioned, if you go on Facebook, if you put in the facebook.com/groups/EdBaker2016, you can join that. Again, the end of that is EdBaker2016, and that'll find the group page, and you can just put in a request to join it. I'll approve it, and then you're able to send me messages directly on there. I approve the posts that people put through. I'll approve those. Usually I look at, if they send me a video or a link to something, I'll read it first before I approve it, just so that make sure that I've seen it. But that's a great way to communicate with me. I'm very available, especially right now, to be able to communicate directly with everybody and to be able to hear what's important to you and be able to answer your questions and learn from you. And so I want to make sure I throw that out there, that please do go on there and join. And thank you, William, for I know you've turned a lot of people on to that page as well. So I just put it up last week.
You're welcome. Ed, I think we have Eric Baker online as well. Do we still have him online?
Yeah, Eric Moore online. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, More. and I had a Baker on there too. I don't know where that went, but we have Eric Moore, who's also a candidate. He has a question for you as well.
Hi, Ed. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing very good. Numbers are gaining, and I want to thank you for standing up. You know, we Americans have had enough, and we need more people like you and me and Bobby and others and William to stand up and make sure that we're heard.
Absolutely.
Bobby had a question for you earlier, and your comments were awesome, but I wanted a more thorough answer on it. How, as a president, would you install term limits for Congress and the Supreme Court? How would you go about that, and how soon would you address that if you become president?
Well, I certainly would want to push for that right away. I think what's going to happen is I think it's going to take time. I think it's going to take a couple of election cycles to get the situation's going to be that people like yourself or myself that are running that right now a lot of people just think are Looney Tunes for giving this a shot. I think what's going to happen is when we show that we can compete and hopefully win this election, that other people are going to be inspired to take the risk to run for local, state, and federal offices, follow our example, and have their own ideas of how to compete. And they're going to start to win those positions. And a lot of them will be running on the promise that they would vote for term limits. And that is something that we would definitely need to put in there. So whether that's 2 or 3, times through for term limits, whatever that case is, I think it's necessary to reduce the opportunity for scandals, for making sure people are in touch. And, one of the big things is that they shouldn't have lifetime benefits. They shouldn't have salary for life or these insurance benefits after they get out. They should have to go back to the real world, and hopefully they've made it a better place with their actions there. And it shouldn't be a thing where they're separate. It's supposed to be that they are representing the people. The government isn't supposed to be some foreign agency. It's supposed to be people. American people should be the government, and they should be representing the other American people. So I'm not sure as president if there's anything specific that I can do other than push for that. But I do think that by running and us, getting the word out, I think we can inspire other good people to run. And I'm seeing it all over the place that people already are. I just think that we need to be able to, give Americans the belief that we can win, and so that they actually will get behind some of those people.
Right. Well, like you said, the grass fire is going. So. Yeah.
Do you have any ideas on that for yourself? For what a president could do in that position?
Yes, I do. I'm a strong supporter of the state convention that the founding fathers, another tool that they entrusted us with to help secure tyrannical government or overpowering government, overreaching government, like we're witnessing in a grand style these days, as you noticed. And I've been a supporter of that for probably 3 to 4 years now. And I'm really digging into the Article 5 under the U.S. Constitution with the state convention project. It's not a project, but it's an actual assembly of the states. And they're having a really tough time getting all the states to get involved. With 34 states, we can pretty much do whatever we want. A lot of the proposals will have to go before Congress. But I think you and I both know that Congress will fight every ounce of keeping benefits and terms and all that. But that's how I'm going to attack the problem. But I think someone like me or you, you're going to be that extra man for the state convention. It's going to be a battle. Once it's finally put in place. And with the state convention as well, we can add amendments to the U.S. Constitution, bypassing Congress if we have to. So I think a lot of people really need to get on board with that.
Being that we have 2 candidates on the line at the same time, I have a question. Do you guys think that the members of Congress and senators who have failed to do their jobs over the past two presidencies should be held accountable for not stepping in and enforcing the laws to protect the American people.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, that's a big thing for me. That, you know, in general, I think that we need to hold people that are put in these positions of authority to be accountable. And I think we need to punish people that are not, and we need to call them out. And that's something that I'm committed to doing. If a person in Congress is not representing those that are putting them there, not representing the best interest of the American people, I have no problem calling them out by name and pushing for them to be replaced. And so there's a lot of talk about, could we, you know, put this person up for treason? Could we, you know, take legal action against this person, that person? I definitely think we need to have accountability, and I think people need to be punished when they break the law, no matter who they are. Nobody should be above the law. If anything, these people should be held to even higher standards. I want to be careful how much energy we put into some of those things if it's extremely unlikely to have a result that you know, will end up resulting in punishment for some of these people. I think we need to be very specific and make sure we attack that the right way in a case-by-case situation. The bottom line is we need to replace these people. So, the host earlier said that there are 13 congressmen that have served combined 413 years. I mean, that is just outrageous. So that's almost, 25 years a person. You know, that's just disgusting. So we need to obviously take action.
I think it's McConnell. McConnell or Schumer's been there the longest. That's like 34 years. And Senator Byrd, good Lord, how long was he there? He was 40 years, 42 years or something.
Well, and one of the people I remember at the last election or whatever, and the House changed hands or whatever it was, and they talked to one of them that was on the they had stayed in office, but they no longer were going to be the majority or whatever. And they said, you know, what did you learn from this or whatever? And he says, well, the American people said they want us to work together. And here this guy had been in office 20-some years, and I posted immediately that it took you 26 years to figure that out, or, you know, I mean, it's just so outrageous, something so simple as they want us to work together. Really? You know, you think. And so, I mean, that's just what's disgusting is that people, I can't imagine these people are voting for the people they're voting for with the hopes that they're just going to go there and have gridlock and fight each other. I mean, I don't know. It's
well, it sounded like we were on the same page. I'm sorry. Should I go ahead?
I was going to ask your opinion. So, yeah.
It sounded like we were on the same page that I go back as far as 100 years, almost to the anniversary of World War I, where both these parties started their attacks and oppression on the American people. And it's almost like an agreement between the two parties. And, you know, I can't really pinpoint if it was the beginning of World War I or at the end, you know, with the Progressive Era with Wilson, the Great Depression, the Dust Bowl, and all those factors, and, you know, leading up to World War II. And and as I look back through history, it almost seems like, you know, since the beginning of the Republican Party with Lincoln, and, you know, long after Lincoln, that they came to an agreement that, okay, you know, we're gonna have a candidate for the Republican Party. He's going to serve 4 years. There will be a scandal caused. He will bow out. We'll get a Democrat back in there who will serve 8. It's like they keep trading off. And if you look at the history of some of our past presidents, it's almost in alignment with it. And now, you know, current days. Sorry about all the noise. I'm outside. It's kind of scary because, you know, and it's really scaring the people about the New World Order.
Mm-hmm.
And as you look back, you know, we can go back further in history, but I try to keep it simple to 100 years, you know, 1915 to 2015. And it sure seems to be pointing in that direction. And I think that's why me and you know, and other candidates and, you know, Joe the Plumber types are stepping up and saying something, because it has to stop. And we're going to make our stance, best man win. And maybe one day me and you can join efforts or whatever may have to happen.
Yeah, and I believe that, I've talked to several other people that are also running, and a couple of them have asked me to be their running mate, and things like that. But I feel good about what I'm doing, and I feel like we can work together in our own ways to, help raise awareness and, really turn people on to this reality of what is going on. There's no question in my mind that there is an evil agenda that's going on behind the scenes, and that these people being elected are not working for the American people, especially at the presidency level. I believe that the primary is essentially set up, ahead of time, that whoever comes out of that is basically only giving the illusion of choice for voters, and whichever one wins is going to carry on this evil agenda behind the scenes, and not serve the American people. And I do believe that we can defeat that as long as we do get the word out, and we do get on ballots. We're going to be competing with people that are spending millions of dollars, more than we are, tens of millions of dollars. And I think the American people will appreciate that we're running on responsible and relatable budgets. It's just a matter that we do have to get out there, and we do have to get on these ballots, and that is a huge challenge for somebody like myself that's not a member of any political party. But I do have a plan to do that, and going to give it my best. And so I 100% agree with your assessment, though, and I think that is a reality. And I think more people are becoming aware that is the reality.
I'm with you, brother.
Absolutely. I definitely want to make sure we stay in touch after this. So my website is edbaker2016.com, and my email for anybody that ever wants to get in touch with me, it's just ed@edbaker2016.com. And definitely, I believe we can all stay together. I had one person that got angry with me because I wouldn't be his running mate, so he decided that I'm dead to him. But for the most part, and I'm glad that he's not going to be that we're not going to be on the same ticket together, because a person that has that attitude would very, very quickly, I realize that's not somebody that I want to be standing that close to me on this. But that said, I think that most people are much more aware of the reality of this, and that we do, even though we have our own ideas and we believe with our passion that we can do this, I still think we can work together. And if only one of us ends up on the ballot, I think that by working together and being positive, I think that a lot of other Americans are going to support that person as well. So I think it's a good.
Now, Eric, do you have a web page that people can contact you on as well?
Yeah, I have two. I have mine, my personal one. It's Eric Moore from St. Louis on Facebook, and then I have Moore 2016 for President. That's a brand new one. I don't even know if there's any comments on there yet, so it might be hard to find. But if you go to my page, you'll find it on my timeline. But I'm going to start promoting that this week, and my campaign. I have a campaign manager now. He volunteered his services, and I run under American Trucker for President, and that's how it started as an experiment, but it's really it's taken off pretty well, and they like my ideas, my proposals for the country, and what we can do for the country. On somebody, myself or Ed, just being independent American citizens running for office with that different viewpoint from the trenches of the working class, and that's very important, And
absolutely,
I can't get that through to a lot of Trump supporters, because they're so blindsided by what he's talking about. He's winning the people over with, he's speaking on the anger points of the people, so he's winning a lot of people over and attacking both parties at the same time, and he don't hold back. I think that's going to be his demise. I think he's going to crash and burn, really. I like him on a personal level.
Something.
Yeah. I mean, he's burning so many bridges every day with both parties, past business partners, and other global corporations that he's dealt with through his lifetime. And a lot of people are bailing out. Some are jumping in, but I think he's and another conspiracy I think that people talk about is he's there to destroy the Republican Party from within. And you can see the rift happening there, in Washington, but not throughout the country, but mainly in Washington D.C. So I don't know. Maybe it's true. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned earlier in this interview that he's been friends with the Clintons in the past, certainly close friends at times, from what I understand. So, and I don't think it takes much to destroy the Republican Party from the standpoint of Congress. They're kind of doing that themselves. You got Ted Cruz calling Mitch McConnell a liar. You got there's a big fighting there. But to your point with Donald Trump, and normally I don't talk about candidates by name because they get plenty of publicity as it is. But to your point, as I agree with pretty much everything you said, by the way, but he says either one of these people, the Democrat or the Republican that's up there, they pretty much are saying, I don't represent 40% of the population of America. We're not going to try to unite you, and we're going to just label you and look for differences in you. And it's very clear. Now, Donald Trump likes to bash people in his own party, tell them that they're stupid and all this stuff. And I think that's just not how I do it. Even I just rather not focus. And by the way, no matter who wins, and I think Hillary Clinton would be the worst thing that could happen, but no matter who wins, I will wish for the best for America with them. And I would rather be wrong about the character of somebody like Hillary Clinton than be celebrating that I'm right at the expense of America. And so I just want people to know that I'm an option to consider, and then what they do with it, they do. But the bottom line is that we got to get the word out, and shows like this and good people that are running are going to help do that. And I think they're both kind of setting themselves up to burn right now. I think with this email stuff and the Benghazi stuff and some of these other things that Hillary's in some trouble with, and then you got this obvious situation right now, Trump's own advisor or campaign manager, whatever, quit right after the debate. And
really? I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, I have no doubt that over this next year there's going to be a lot of comings and goings and fallout, and like you said, people jump on, people jump off. A lot of people said to me, hey, it's going to be entertaining one way or the other. I don't know if the word's entertaining. I think it's pretty scary because these are the people that are trying to represent America going forward. I don't really find it entertaining while so many people are hurting. But it's going to get some attention. I can't believe we're a year and a quarter away, and the number of Facebook profile pictures or the number of, people that are just really into this. And, the Republican convention, honestly, this snuck up on me, and that they're already doing debates. I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy crap, we got 450 days to election, and I'm like, we're already doing debates. And it's like, wow, I didn't expect that so early. And I researched it, and last election they even started earlier. I was like, wow, I blew that. I didn't realize how early this starts. But I was like, when is the Republican convention? And I looked it up. It's not till July. So we're talking a year yet of this stuff. And so I think some people are going to get burned out of it. Anytime somebody tells me, look, I support Bernie Sanders, I support Ted Cruz, I support Donald Trump, I always say to them, I think that's great that you have a candidate you support. I hope that they win their primary and that I get the necessary petition signatures so that we both appear on your ballot. And what the truth is a lot of people appreciate my positive attitude with it. A lot of people say to me, if Bernie Sanders doesn't win the primary, I'm sure as hell not going to vote for Hillary Clinton. I'll be looking for a third-party candidate. And so I think that a lot of these people that are really sold on one candidate, if they don't win their primary, they're not supporting this other candidate coming out of there. And I think that's where we can win a lot of those votes.
Yeah, you're right on. I want to ask you, where are you from, Ed? Where do you live now?
Yeah, I was going to ask you the same thing. I've lived in the Portland, Oregon area my whole life.
I'm going to be starting some town hall meetings, and I'm going to try to scatter it. I'm a working man, and I think you are too. And my schedule's so screwy as a truck driver. I'm going to be starting some town hall meetings starting in the Midwest, and I'm going to try to get up in that area. It's not easy to do with my schedule. But I've had some people ask me to come up to New Hampshire and Maine and upstate New York, away from the communist regime around the, Manhattan area or New York City. And I would, I would like to talk to you more about it and invite you to some of the town hall meetings, and we'll just, we'll put our proposals out and our ideas for the country, and have a Q&A, or whatever. If you're interested, just hit my page and we'll talk about it.
Yep, we definitely will, man. I look forward to it. I'm so I never shy away from talking to other people that care about America and are running for president. I think it's great. Some people go, oh, there's so many people running and all this, but I think it's great. I'd rather be linked up with as many people that take that step as possible. And I don't like getting into the negative, Yeah.
Guys, I got to cut you off. We're coming up to the end of the show. We have to play the national anthem at the end of the show. You guys are more than welcome to stay on the line, and you can continue to talk. I have a question I'd like to ask you, so if you want to stay on the line after the anthem, but we do have to play it. We're coming up to the 1 minute marker. So
thank you for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it.
No, it was a pleasure having both of you on. I'd like to have you on again. I'm going to talk to guys and see if we can set up a show to have the two of you on it. I think it's great to see you guys team up.
Awesome.
For sure.
So, hopefully you
I got to run, guys. Good night. I might come back later, but good night for now. And if Ed sticks around, I'm going to be listening in later, and maybe we'll talk some more.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I look forward to talking to you.
Have a good one, guys. God bless.
Great night. God bless you. God bless America.
Amen.
Lisa, if you would, play the national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallant.